Sonic Retold Issue 4. The Tailstone wants to attack in the crowded power plant room, and Nicole says the energy core is in the creature's head, being able to detect that when she didn't detect the Tailstone in all this time, and warns her friends to aim for it as she creates a force field in front of her. Just in front of her though, not around her because that'd be too smart. It's kinda satisfying to see Cream jump on Tailstone and call it out, "You tricked me and tried to hurt my friends! I'll never forgive you!" Sadly, she's grabbed, and Cheese needs to bite and save her. She thanks him as I wonder just how supernaturally great its bite was to hurt a robot. Big throws Froggy itself at the Tailstone. I'm not sure how he thought that was acceptable to do, since that hurt Froggy, and a frog wouldn't hurt that much. But at least it's more creative that he did this to get it to open its mouth and reveal its crystal. But the fact that it was closed in the first place makes it unbelievable that it ever revealed the crystal at all. It would make sense if the only reason the crystal got exposed was because the Tailstone was simply damaged, so it couldn't hide it anymore. Why would it willingly expose it, like it's a boss fight in a video game? Rotor throws Bomb at the crystal to thank him, and Heavy thanks Bomb, and I wonder if Tailstone has already been defeated. It's just the third paragraph. That's anticlimactic compared to the much longer, epic fight of Archsonic Online. But thank goodness the issue's got fast pacing now. Unless this is a fake out death scene. Because it would be common sense to have a very short fight scene with this thing since we already saw the giant Tailstone fight twice. After Nicole briefly wants to dispose of Tailstone, Rotor at least has a good point when he stops her. He says that if its memory is intact, he needs to find out if it gathered any sensitive information. So he naturally wants it brought to his workshop and wants Elias alerted just in case. So that'll mean Elias' parents will get help. I hadn't thought of that earlier. So Nicole shouldn't have crushed all of it, but she could have created a bubble around it and crushed every part of it except for its head. She could have crushed every part of it except for the memory. Meanwhile, Silver makes it to Deerwood Forest and thinks it took a while and wonders if he should have borrowed a warp ring instead. The writer shouldn't have had him point that out because now I'm mad at Silver for being forced to be too stupid to think of that when he arrived back in time with a warp ring in the first place. He's here because Titan Metal Sonic fell somewhere around here and the Krudzu might save the future. Hopefully because he's planning on having a programmer like Rotor reprogram the Krudzu to turn Sally back to her normal brain. Because otherwise, if literally all he did was put the Krudzu on Sally, it would obviously just take her over and be evil, so that'd be brain dead to rights, so hopefully that's not the case. Silver thinks that his vision of the future had a world of robots spliced with Mobius, and Sally surrounded by rings at its center. The whole world of robots thing is either a result of Eggman's Genesis wave going how he wants, or a reference to the Metal Virus arc that was originally planned to start in issue 300 of Archsonic. Now that I know that, Finibus' vision of the future where everyone turned against each other in Mobius Legends makes actual sense. He was seeing the Metal Virus arc. He uses his telekinesis to get an opening and get to the Krudzu, and it's so buried in there that he doubts he could get it out without damaging it. Then he screams, and the Mercy and Freedom Fighters show up all of a sudden and say that the Force and its spoils belong to them. I'm sensing padding coming up that'll be unacceptable. Can't Silver just tell them why he needs the Krudzu? Won't they immediately leave him alone after that? Why wouldn't he just use telekinesis to hold them all still and explain? He held everyone still with telekinesis and Hedgehog Havoc. Don't tell me he can't do it. Why in the world would this Hood guy be stupid enough to think that Silver's working for Eggman? He's clearly not a cyborg. This page shouldn't have existed. I thought Silver would just get the Krudzu and go. He has telekinesis, he could just tear the things around it apart and get it. But no. The drooling idiot Rabbit says that Silver's a liar just because he was seen with Eggman's robot. I already saw Caratia or whatever be an idiot. I don't get why she'd say that. Wouldn't he either be seen fighting them, or she'd only say robot because she'd only see Shard? He throws her away with telekinesis, but I just wish the panel was a lot larger so I'd really see the impact of her painful thud with the ground. If they're gonna aggravate me that much, the slapstick against them needs to be a lot more than this. Then Silver gets smacked from behind. These characters are villains right now. You'd think heroes wouldn't be the type to fight first and ignore any reason. Silver sends him away too, and then a bard smacks him, I guess. I can't see anything there but a flash of light, so whatever. It never made sense to me that he was happy enough to sing when fighting. Then a monk shows up, and says to forgive their rustic ways. No, he still hates Silver. Can he just die? He sends Silver upwards as I'm just baffled that Silver didn't use telekinesis on all of them at once immediately. He clearly proved he could use telekinesis on multiple objects at once in the gameplay of Sonic 06, the fights with Iblis, the fights with Solaris, the boss fight in Sonic Generations, and Archie. And didn't he throw multiple tables at Sonic at once? There's no excuse for him being so wimpified. A so-called monk is fine with Silver potentially dying. Even if he couldn't think to grab them all at once instantly, couldn't he have just flown upwards immediately? That's a flight part of fight or flight response. Finally, Robin shows up to defend Silver. A guy who can fly shouldn't really need defending. Couldn't it have easily been written that Robo-Hedge would be with them immediately? After all, they're supposed to be his friends. And Robin was originally planned to be with them in the Sonic Universe arc. If he's gone because he left, why'd he even come back? How convenient that he showed up now. He helps Silver up as I'm incensed at the fact that the comic took literally any excuse to have needlessly slow pacing. So they waste time talking with redundant dialogue. Someone says he'll show what these gnashers can gnaw, and does something unclear, and then Silver gets access to what he wants. Okay, why couldn't he have just been written to use telekinesis to get the stuff surrounding it out of the way in one panel? What was so hard about not writing these characters to show up? I hate them all more than ever now. They don't even have the decency to apologize. They don't even get punished. My time is wasted some more, as it's already nighttime in the Wolf Nation, making me wonder how the hell the heroes are taking more time to get to the North Pole than Archie Sonic. Max was made an honorary Wolf Pack member, and he didn't like all the noisy howling. If our time was going to be wasted on this, we clearly should have seen the ritual happen instead of Alicia talking about it in bed afterwards. Anyways, Rotor tells Nicole to run the Tails Dolls directory through the database. I'm wondering why even by nightfall, Eggman still hadn't sent anything after the former king and queen to kill them. I mean, he has, but why haven't they reached them? Why haven't they reached them yet? You'd think he just contacts the troops he has near the Wolf Nation already. I know he really wants to send Mega Sally after them to kill them, but, like, they can be captured by robots or troops here, and then it's just a matter of waiting. It'd already be too late if the heroes took this long to get to this point in the workshop, somehow. I don't think Rotor's workshop is so far away that they'd have to... We don't need a new subplot where the former king and queen went to the Wolf Nation and need the heroes to spend time rescuing them. What we need is to see Sally get rescued. Which is obvious since people wanted that the minute she got roboticized. And it's been years. The subplot feels intrusive because of its positioning. Instead of being shown after all the sad EM characters will be brought back to the team in full force, the writer has skewed priorities and puts this before even Sally is rescued, which just wastes time and gets in the way. No, let's just be mean to Sally instead of having her get rescued already. Nicole says she has a transmission from the Death Egg. Do we really need to see this? Alicia talks about her first meeting with the former king. First off, obviously it'd be better if we actually saw it, instead of narration while nothing was happening. So I have to picture it on my own. Second, it contradicts the canon. We were clearly told that the Swords of All arranged their future marriage when they were children. They certainly didn't first meet as adults when the king almost ran her over with a horse. Also, while it's tense that we see Mega Sally attack Sumerka, we only see one panel of it. So it tells us nothing. And I already got told she was sent there. There is a sincerely romantic moment as Alicia finishes explaining how they fell for each other, and Max actually finishes her sentence, saying that he wanted to see the stars in her eyes. But then Elias calls her and apparently gets cut off as she's threatened. Rotor says that he doesn't have a warp ring at his workshop because he's an idiot. You'd think they'd make as many warp rings as they can. He tells Heavy to fly to Freedom HQ. He can do that? At least that's competent of him. It makes sense that a robot could be upgraded to do new things, but he doesn't look like he can fly. And why would he waste time talking? Wouldn't he at least talk gallantly while running? Elias tells Nicole to get Shard here on the double. Eggman attacks the Wolfpack village with lasers causing fire everywhere. Someone says the Egg Swats are heading for somewhere and tells archers to cover fire. The Wolf Girls want to buy time for the Acorns to escape. Sally's mother sees her, though it's hard to tell it's Sally from so far away. Eggman says he wants Lupe dead, apparently being so vengeful that he's done with the idea of legionizing her, even though Lupe herself knew that it would have been strategically helpful. Sally attacked her. Good thing Lupe has a shield. She knocks Lupe down anyways. It's hard to tell what's going on though. Sally gets something thrown at her head because Ariel and Athena showed up to protect Lupe from a lethal head laser. So it was worth them disobeying her. Elliot shows up through the warp ring, thankfully with Rotor, Shard, Heavy, and Bomb to do some fighting. Still, what's he supposed to do? Get hurt? Let me guess, Sally won't be rescued here because that'd be different from Archie Sonic, and involve someone other than Sonic saving her. God forbid there be a creative new direction. No, that'd feel anticlimactic. So this is just some pointless extra fluff in the way of Sally's fight with Sonic on the Death Egg. Some other robot could have fought Lupe in her place and no difference. Shard's told to go protect Elias's parents. He helps out the wolf girls first, since there's already damsels in distress right here. He should at least be written to say, I'm sure they'll be fine. Like, naturally, someone cocky assumes that things will be fine. But it's still satisfying to see Shard fighting alongside Rotor. He's not a secret anymore, and that helps Rotor out. So that's common sense. An explosion happens behind Elias's parents. Apparently things weren't considered depressing enough, so after that, it's pointless anyways because Sally catches up with her. Predictably, Elias goes to save his mother, though it takes too long. Like, I get it, it's dark. I didn't know until the next page that Mecha Sally flew weight-carrying Max because all I saw at first was a blue light blur going up to the sky with Elias saying no. After he talks to Sally, Leon says that Mecha Sally stalled. Eggman complains about a glitch in her programming. I don't see how she's able to choose to stall. She never stalled when attacking Sonic. He wants to override her, making me wonder why it's not always on override if that's a thing. Then they both get struck by lightning. To be fair, it is actually possible to survive that. A baseball player got hit by it in real life and was unconscious for a few minutes, and then just got back up. So it's not unbelievable that Max would survive. But as harsh as it is to say, if he didn't, it would be putting him out of his misery and we wouldn't have to put up with the constant annoying tearjerkers of seeing him like that anymore. I can't stand how he's portrayed in this comic. So it would be a smart decision to write that, if only so that we don't have to deal with that kind of depressingness anymore. But obviously write him to be cured of his problem with a magical potion and become happy would be better. Surprisingly, Sally is still able to fly just fine after being hit by lightning. That was dumber than I expected. Metal conducts electricity. She'd be worse off than him. She drops him, and out of nowhere, Eggman says that now it's over and tells Mecha Sally to fly away. He should at least explain that he doesn't want to risk Mecha Sally being attacked and eventually rescued.
So, why didn't Rotor protect the king? He knew Shard wasn't going to. What he did instead was barely noticeable. I don't think he did anything. This wouldn't happen.
Shard comes back to see the former king, and Rotor looks at him annoyed, because he was supposed to protect him and prevent this from happening. And with his sonic speed and spin dash, he probably would have succeeded. As if Shard didn't have enough melodrama around him, now people are mad at him. He couldn't just be loved and accepted by the good guys, could he? No, that'd be lighthearted. At least Rotor looks merely annoyed with him instead of furious. He looks more like someone gave him the wrong order at a restaurant or stunk up his car. Eggman greets Sally and asks what's wrong with her eyes, and Orbot says it's superficial damage, a love tap from the Grand Chief's brats. Eggman says to repair in a important 2 hours when the Genesis wave will be ready. And he says to patch up the leaks to have Sally look her best for his next sponge bath. I'm not sure how it's possible for a body-sized person to cry actual tears. Doesn't the writer realize she's suffered enough? Whatever. There's nothing to say about the off-panels. This issue by Glitcher was about Mecha Sally being sent after her parents by Eggman because they left the safety of their hiding place because of a forced idiot ball, and that seems to get her father killed. And Shard is blamed because they prioritized helping some pointless wolf girls over the royalty, which was another idiot ball. But it's kind of understandable because he's cocky and assumed they'd be fine while he would take some time helping out where he was. You'd think he'd be told to actually follow his orders until he did them though. So Rotor was stupid too. It just had to be Sally who did this to Max, didn't it? It couldn't have been some other robot. Flynn already got me sick of drama happening because of character stupidity. It makes it impossible to respect the fact that it's written when it clearly wouldn't have happened. It makes it harder to respect the characters when they just keep being idiots. This whole subplot could have been put after Sally was rescued. Archie Sonic Online clearly cares about Sally a lot more than this writer because it had to rescue be its first priority. The plot would be easier to accept after the entire freedom fighting team would be back in full force because it did not make us have to wait longer for that. So I'd appreciate that's a new story at least. I'll just briefly talk about the 5th issue because it hasn't been finished yet. I'm confused about the cover. It'd make no sense if it actually killed off Sally because that clearly upset the fans. Anyways, it starts out wasting our time with Knuckles going through a portal to Albion at last. We clearly didn't need to see this ever. We already saw Sonic telling Knuckles to go there to supervise. Nothing worth reading would ever happen here. Oh, other than the fact that Knuckles' mother and him are happy to see each other again and hug. Aw. She said she was worried because he was gone from her life for so long. He says sorry, and Remington is mad at Knuckles, causing drama that I won't want to see. And that's it. What a wonderful use of the comic space. Well, that sucks. Sure, his computer's dead, but it's been a month. When I lost my computer, I bought a new one in a day. And there's just a few days between every new page being uploaded. So that's a lame ending to Sonic Retold so far. Basically no plot progression in Archie Sonic at all, beyond Sally's father seemingly dying to her. Well, that was totally worth the read. It was written like Flynn wrote it, but worse. It was just issue 247, but with tons of padding added. So it was like reading nothing at all. Ridiculously slow pacing makes for a consistently boring, overrated comic. And the only thing that's respectable is that Rotor and Nicole attacked Tailsdoll immediately, and Silver plans on using the Crudzu to reprogram Mega Sally. That way, while she doesn't literally return to normal, she'll get to keep the advantages of being a robot and get to work for the heroes again, so that's cool. Or it'll just program her to stay still, so she can't be deroboticized. I really hope Archie Sonic Online gives Sally a way to use the attacks she has Mega Sally with devices. She could have a way to fire a laser, or use energy blades, and she could have rocket boots to fly. So she wouldn't feel like she was losing anything just because she got back to normal. It's sad that the most memorable things about this comic are padding, and times where it got ridiculously dark. Like, treating Sally even worse than she was in the comic. I do pity him though, I mean, jeez. And that's why you should always buy new PCs instead of trying repairs.